Hello. So I'm in this funny little corner of my house, and I chose this spot because I wanted to talk about this idea of attention. I mean, it's sort of a catchy phrase, right? Attention is the new money. But I think what I really mean by that is more about what we value. Hi, Jared. Give me a wave if you can hear me, or let me know if you can't. So anyway, I had this idea of, I don't know, this popped up for me now a couple years ago, but popped up again recently, this idea that I wanted to talk about our attention being more valuable, not only than our money, but even than our time. So time is the new money is often, it's more of like a catchphrase that you might hear more often. And all right, I'll take my 2 minutes, Jared. So anyway, I came home to talk about this, and I have this spot in my house that it's at the top of, or it's kind of at the landing of these stairs, and there's a period of time during the winter months, or like fall going into winter, where the crystal I have hanging in the window, it sets these rainbows. Here, check this out. It sets these rainbows going all around this area of my house, and it's the most delightful experience. And I thought, oh, thanks, Jared. I love you too. I thought this exemplifies what it is that I want to talk about, which is taking the time, like actually putting our attention on what matters. And so I came home and I saw all the rainbows were right where they were, and I just paused. I thought, like, I was kind of rushing. I got to get to my live on time, right? I said I'd be there. But I thought I can give my attention to this beauty that's right here. And then I suddenly thought, like, I could do my live here. So I ran around sort of scrambling. You should see my funny setup here. I have like a chair, and then I have this box drum that my children have, and then I have some books, and then I have my camera. But I wanted to share this beauty with all of you. Yes, Jean, I know it's like the fall wintertime thing, that it comes at the right angle. And the beauty of this, and I'll talk more about the whole attention piece in a minute, but the beauty of this for me is that this is like this area of my house could be kind of nothing. Like, it's just a landing at the top of the stairs. It's this area that I might never put attention on. Otherwise, it goes, the rainbows all go on my laundry room door, which is like, so it just brings this incredible beauty and light to this area that could be kind of nothing. Anyway, thank you, Dawn. Yeah, I really wanted to, like, it doesn't quite transfer. I wish I could really show you, but I wanted to bring you into this beauty. So attention is the new money. Again, I wrote that a little bit tongue-in-cheek because it's catchy. Thank you, Casey. And I kind of hate catchphrases like that, but again, it's catchy. So, but for me, it was really about, I think the first time that I really saw somebody say time is the new money, or that I was conscious of it. I'm sure I'd heard it because it's been around for a while, but the first time I was really conscious of it, I saw that, and there was like some little glitch. This is how it often happens for me, actually, is that I have like some momentary glitch, and then my mind, it's almost like a little bit of that skip in a broken record, where it just does its little glitchy thing in the background until something clicks. And it was, so that happened. And then I realized like what it was that was kind of glitching is that I know that and I imagine that many of you have spent time with people or doing things, but not actually given them your full attention. Sometimes probably hardly any attention at all. And that's when I sort of had this catchphrase of attention is the new money came up for me, of not only like where do we put our physical time, like I put my body somewhere. Like, I mean, I imagine if any of you are parents that are watching, how often are you in the physical presence of your children, but maybe doing other things? And I'm certainly not, the intention of this isn't to criticize that, or I'm not here to say, like, I mean, I do that. Sometimes it's completely necessary. I mean, I have to make all the meals and tidy up and do the laundry, and there's a billion things that need to be done. But again, that's what really had me think like this piece of attention, because I know not only how like there's a feeling in my own body when I truly turn my full attention to something. And I know, I mean, for sure with my children, but I can feel it with other, I think adults, we get kind of, we get like inured to it or desensitized to this experience of being with each other. So we're giving each other our time, but not our full attention. And we're a little bit desensitized to it at this point, but my kids are not yet. And so they let me know quite loudly when I'm giving them my time or my physical presence, but not actually giving them my attention. And again, like I said, it's not that I should or could always turn my full attention, but it's worth being aware and at least knowing like, hey, yeah, I'm here, but I cannot or I am not going to give you my attention, rather than pretending both to myself and possibly to them that I am. So, so that first piece of distinguishing between time and attention and really like, what is it? Oh, and then my friend Varian said something beautiful today, actually, in response to this post. She said, that's why we say pay attention. And I just loved it, because we say how do we spend our time? How do we pay attention? Like we have already some connection to this idea of it being a currency. I think the only thing I don't like about that is the feeling of it being transactional. So I don't think of it as transactional, but I do think like it creates something. Something is created by what we give our currency to, whether we give the currency of our money, we give the currency of our time, we give the currency of our attention. And then again, this piece of distinguishing attention from time, because I often hear people that I admire, some of my mentors talk about the more like the more they work with more and more successful or more and more powerful people, that time is more valuable to them than money. That the people they work with are less concerned with like, well, how much does it cost? And more concerned with how much of my time is it going to take? Now, first of all, I don't know that that's always something to try to alleviate, because I think it's important to say like, yes, this is going to take something from you. This is going to take your time. This is going to take your attention. Frankly, we don't get, I mean, maybe this is where the transactional piece comes in, but I don't think we get anything in life, like I don't even mean that so much in like a grabby, getty way, but we don't reap the rewards in life unless we're willing to give something for it. And sometimes that really is in the form of money, right? And putting kind of like putting a stake in the ground by spending the currency of our money. But a lot of times that really is like, what kind of time am I willing to invest? Yeah, we talk about investing time. And what kind of attention? definitely speak to that, when I've talked to the women who join my women's program, or the participants of the relationship and intimacy work that John Wineland and I lead, is I'll often have the conversation like, yeah, this is going to cost you money, but frankly, the bigger investment is going to be your attention. It's going to, like, we're going to ask things of you. And that is when I see people truly reap the rewards, it's because they've been willing to give their attention, to not just show up with their physical presence and perhaps kind of their time, although that's a big part of it, but also with that kind of wholehearted attention to the work itself. And there's a way inside of that. I did not plan on talking about this actually at all, but there's a way that what I see with that is that people are willing to give themselves that attention. They're willing to give their attention to that aspect of their lives. And that's where, when we talk about like reaping the rewards or harvesting the benefits, it's the same with gardening. Like a physical act is, again, the kind of attention we're willing to put into the soil and the planting and the tending and the weeding and that takes attention. Yes, it takes some time, but actually it takes a certain kind of attention. And then we see that then what comes from that is really quite beautiful and quite nourishing. As soon as I posted this piece about, I want to make the rainbows do their thing again, even though they might distract you from me. You might give your attention to the light instead of to me. But it makes me happy, so I'm going to do it. So this other piece I wanted to talk about was the moment that I posted the quote, "Attention is the new money," I am kind of immediately, I was like, oh, is that right? And I had this afterthought, which is connection the new money? Or is connection the new, I don't know, you could call it most valuable currency? And then I had the thought, actually, I think they're almost the same, or they relate very deeply to each other. Because when we actually give our attention to another human being, there is connection there. And we actually can't, there's actually no separating that. I can't say, connection is the most valuable currency without attention being included in that. Because if we don't give our attention to a relationship or to a connection or to that human being, or frankly to the earth or whatever it is that we want to have deeper connection with, then we don't have it. So it's inherently attention, like real wholehearted embodied attention is inherently built into connection. And as I use these lives a lot to kind of just work these out in my own mind. But as I was sitting with that, then it was this feeling of like, it's kind of like our willingness and our capacity to actually give full attention to moment to things in our life. Again, it's not maybe every single moment, but the degree to which we do that is the degree to which we get a full, wholehearted life. And the degree to which, look at all the hearts. The degree to which we give, 50%, 30%, 10%, even 75%, the degree to which we're giving partial attention is kind of the degree to which we get that back in our life. We end up with a little bit of it's almost fragmented, like a fragmented life. And the degree to which we're really willing to give a wholehearted attention is the degree to which we get this full life back. And it happens kind of in the big way. Like we look around and go like, whoa, this is the life I get. But it also happens just, moment to moment. It happens like when I talked about coming home and being in a bit of a rush to sit myself down and do my Facebook Live, where I could have sped past the beauty of this moment that's happening in my house. But instead I paused and gave it my attention. And in that moment, I had a wholehearted life. I got to have that experience right in that moment. It wasn't like that was just one building block to a full life that I'm getting to someday. In that moment, it was all right there. And my experience is that that's true basically in any moment that we're willing to do that. We actually get the full experience of that in every moment we're willing to do that. And this is, in some ways, this is the beauty actually of really distinguishing attention versus time or money, is that attention is something that we have to give in every moment. There is no moment where we don't have that potential to turn our full attention. It's almost like pick up the practice. I could have been distracted all morning. I could have been rushing. I could have been, all number of things could be happening. And then in any moment that I realize that I have the opportunity, I can actually pick it up. Or, as the case may be, set it down, right? Like I could be scrolling through Facebook and, saying to my children, or, sitting outside on this glorious day, but scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or who knows what all. And then in any moment I can put that down and I can actually turn my full attention to what's right there. And then I get that full, wholehearted life right then. There's never like a in order to, or I have to wait until. It's always right there when we're willing to give our full attention in the moment. And we can do that in any moment. Again, I'm not saying that we have to do that in every moment, but we can do that in any moment. So I want to take a breath and take a pause. I'd like to check and see if there's any comments, and welcome that if you are here and you either have a question or a share of your own experience of this. If you disagree with me, I love that. But feel free to bring your voice to this conversation so that it can be more of a conversation and less of a monologue. I always enjoy that. I always invite that. So I don't see anything right now, but please feel free. This is really the last piece that was there for me. And I'm going to make my rainbows again for a moment. Well, there's two pieces. And one is, hold on, Caverly just said, brilliant and inspiring. Oh, shoot. This is the thing about where comments get cut off and I can't see the whole thing. So I can't see after what you said about another important factor of attention is, if you want to just post the second part of that as a new comment, then I'll be able to see it. But thank you for joining the conversation. One is something that I am still percolating on, but is almost like a, what's the word for it? Not like a warning, but anytime we turn something into a currency, there is the possibility of, really we can misuse anything. And so I don't have, this isn't fully formed in my mind, but I was thinking about I was thinking about this idea of attention is the new money, and then rather than money, attention is the new currency. And then instead of currency, I thought, what if it was attention is our greatest natural resource? And it immediately had me think of this Utah Phillips quote. I'll try to find it and post it in the comments later. But he's got this beautiful spoken word piece where he's talking about giving a commencement speech at a college. And he gets on stage and he says something like, "You're about to be told one more time that you're America's greatest natural resource. Like, don't ever let them tell you, or like, don't ever let them call you a natural resource. Have you seen what they do? Have you seen a clear cut? Have you seen a strip mine? Have you seen what they do to valuable natural resources?" And it's so powerful. And I think about that too. Like, if we think of our attention as a natural resource, just having this awareness of also not allowing that to be strip mined, not allowing the clear cut. And in some ways, maybe this is speaking to what we have currently, which is really where our attention is being drawn so much all the time. No, look over here. No, look over here. No, look over here. Like, I get a headache, frankly, if my kids don't really watch any TV and movies that much, but I notice that they're just much faster than I recall them being. And it's one of the reasons that I like to spend time in nature, or where there's no electricity or no cell phone reception, because there's like a complexity to the natural world, but it moves at this other speed that says, like, yes, there's time for your attention. And it's almost like the clear cutting or the strip mining of our attention is, commercials that break every 5 seconds, and, a Facebook feed that never ends, and sort of this like, the way that I feel that inside myself is I notice that I'm afraid of missing something. Like, if I don't see all the Facebook posts, that I'll miss something important. And again, it's like this thing that we can pick up in any moment and say, oh, actually, there's nothing more important than what's right in front of me. So the very last piece that I'll bring up, and again, this is more like a percolation than some fully formed teaching, if you will, but is that when I posted this, then I had a friend of mine, Daniel, said something about enjoying receiving attention less and less lately. And I'm not quite sure what he means, so I don't mean this to speak for him, but what that sparked in my own mind was the same, like, I imagine that most people would feel very uncomfortable receiving money. And again, if we look at this kind of as a currency, then what is it to receive attention? If somebody is willingly giving me their most valuable currency, how willing am I to receive that? And the true gift, both of our willingness and our capacity to give that generously and kind of unconditionally, in the sense of not like, I'll give you my attention so that you'll, whatever for me. I'm glad you feel comfortable receiving money, Jean. Hopefully you feel comfortable receiving attention also. But yeah, looking at like how easy and willing am I to give this, but also at the same time the receiving. And really what a gift it is. Like, I feel good when I get to give And I realize so much like how often we deprive people of the gift of giving to us. And so I would think about that in terms of attention too. Like, am I depriving someone of the joy of getting to give me their attention? One of the ways I would say I see this most is in terms of compliments. I mean, this is I should do an entire live about compliments. But, if somebody just says, you look beautiful, how often we want to go like, oh, no, 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 no. Or, but the true turning towards receiving and saying, thank you. The willingness to actually receive the valuable attention, like their most valuable currency gifted to us. So I leave that as a question. Let me see. Colin said, afraid I'll miss something might be my least favorite feeling ever. Yeah, no, it's really uncomfortable. And then I notice that that's what has me keep like scrolling, because I don't want to feel the feeling. But again, that's a moment. It's like stop and feel the feeling, or stop and find, in some way I find actually the fullness then, right, of what's actually in front of me. Jean said attention, not so much. Yeah, so we all, have our areas to grow in. Christian said being current, that's the currency, same as having presence is the presence. Yeah, I mean, in some way I would say that's exactly what I've been talking about. So like this being current in a sense is giving our attention in the present moment. I would say, again, and this is another whole Facebook Live, but it's also doing the work that allows us to let go of what's not current so that we actually can meet each person and each moment in currency, if you will. But yes, so true. So, I just dropped all my papers. Thank you for all of those who gave your attention to me, either here live or in the replay. I feel honored by your attention, and I loved the ways in which this could be a conversation. If you are watching the replay, again, please feel free to bring your comments, your questions, your own shares into the conversation. I love when it gets to become a back and forth like that, and I hope this was valuable for you. I wish you a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll leave you with one last twirl of my rainbows here. And I'll see if I can give you the best possible view of it without showing you my dirty house, but maybe over here. Can you guys see this? I don't know. I don't know if that worked. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ciao.